Like, if you break your arm, an X-ray gives you this perfectly clear binary answer, right? It's broken or it's not. But what happens when the pain isn't in your bones, but it's in your mind, and it's so heavy that your body just starts breaking down anyway?
That is exactly the space we are exploring today. We're looking at a text that really captures the sheer, kind of murky reality of hitting absolute rock bottom.
Right. Today's deep dive is into an ancient poem, specifically Psalm 38 from the English Standard Version. It basically acts as a 3,000-year-old case study on human collapse.
Yeah, and the text actually identifies itself as a Psalm of David for the memorial offering.
Which, I mean, what does that actually mean in this context?
Well, a memorial offering was essentially a plea to a higher power. It's like saying, remember me, because literally everyone else is forgotten.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that perfectly sets the stage for the intense physical and social isolation we're about to see.
Okay, let's unpack this, because reading through this, the first thing that hits you isn't just some vague spiritual angst, it's sheer physical agony.
Definitely. The author isn't just feeling sad.
Right, their body is actively shutting down. The text describes these arrows sinking in, a lack of soundness in their flesh, and wounds that literally stink and fester because of their foolishness.
What's fascinating here is how the text completely refuses to separate physical agony from spiritual distress. It treats them as one interconnected collapse.
It's like a severe psychosomatic reaction.
Exactly. They describe their vision failing and their sides burning. The physical breakdown isn't just a metaphor, it's a direct mirror of their internal sorrow for sin.
Which makes complete sense. I mean, we know today that severe chronic stress floods your body with cortisol.
Right. It completely messes with you.
Yeah, it destroys your immune system, causes actual inflammation. Carrying that psychological heavy burden literally feels like being bowed down and prostrate. This ancient text is describing exactly what happens when your internal guilt breaks your physical health.
But then, you're physically wrecked. You're drowning in guilt. You would think this is when your support network finally kicks in.
You would think. But instead, the text shows this profound social isolation. The author's friends and companions, even their nearest kin, they all stand aloof and far off from their plague.
It's just brutal.
It really is, and it makes you wonder, why does human nature so often reflect this painful dynamic? Like, why do communities sometimes pull away when you are at your absolute most vulnerable?
I think it really comes down to human self-preservation. When we see someone experiencing a catastrophic, messy downfall, especially one involving a plague or deep guilt, our instinct is often to distance ourselves.
So we aren't pulled down with them.
Exactly. It's a fear of contagion, whether that's literal or social. We just want to protect our own standing. And that highlights the tragic contrast in the text.
The abandonment, right?
Yeah, you have the passive abandonment by loved ones trying to protect themselves, contrasted with the active malice of enemies. These vigorous foes are laying snares, and they meditate treachery all day long. They actively render evil for good because the author is exposed.
Man, so faced with all of this failing health, absent friends, and plotting enemies, the author's reaction is entirely counterintuitive.
Yeah, they choose to become like a deaf man who does not hear, and a mute man with no rebukes in his mouth.
Let me push back on this a bit, though. Doesn't going completely silent and just ignoring accusations, isn't that basically surrendering to your enemies?
Well, from the outside, it absolutely looks like defeat. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, this silence is actually an active posture of reliance rather than surrender.
Wait, really? How does that work?
Because the author immediately states, "But for you, O Lord, do I wait." By stepping out of the defensive ring, they are making a deliberate choice to seek external salvation.
Ah, like asking the Lord to make haste to help me.
Exactly, instead of fighting a completely fruitless verbal battle.
So what does this all mean? I mean, you don't need to be a historical figure to relate to the sensation of being physically drained by life, right?
Not at all.
Or isolated from your support system, or just overwhelmed by critics. Which leaves you with a really provocative final thought.
Yeah, it's so relevant today.
In our modern era, our first instinct is usually to instantly fire back and defend ourselves against every single critique. But what might happen if you experimented with the power of being like a mute man the next time you feel unfairly attacked?
Just completely letting go of the need to aggressively fight back.
Exactly. Choosing that radical, disciplined silence might actually be the most powerful way to find your footing again.